Welcome to BARI Banter, where we talk everything bariatric surgery with the people that know it best, the patients. I'm Shannon, and I'm here with my co-hostest with the mostest,
Lita. So sit back, relax, and remember, sip, sip, sip.
Hey, Lee.
Hey,
How you
Shan.
doing? That's a funny glass you got going there. No
Shut
glass of
up.
wine tonight? What's going on there?
No wine. On the waters. I've been banned from drinking.
Why?
My AA meeting told me enough wasn't no.
Sponsor. What's the reason for that tonight?
So tomorrow I am actually going down to Brisbane and getting my eyebrows tattooed on my face.
Like your eyebrows?
Yeah, no.
Like-
So it's a cosmetic procedure where they microblade tattoo my eyebrows on. Yeah.
Wow, girls do funny things.
Yeah, I won it in an Instagram competition back in December. So, hey, I'm going to go down and I'll give it a...
So they shave your existing ones off?
They don't shave them off, you idiot.
Oh.
They shape them, they'll wax them.
I'm sorry, I'm not up to date on the
And
whole
then they'll
tattoo thing.
tattoo them on to look nice and natural and thick.
How do they make that? I'm not even going to go into
don't
that.
ask. But
Girls
yeah, no,
are a very complex little creature.
apparently alcohol makes you bleed more. So, but you know what's worse than me not being able to drink alcohol tonight? I'm not allowed to have coffee in the morning.
Oh.
So I've got to drive to Brisbane tomorrow morning during peak hour traffic, and I'm not allowed to have coffee until after the appointment. I literally said to her, "Are you trying to kill me?"
Yeah, what are you doing to me? I don't know if it's worth it.
No alcohol and no coffee.
I know,
God,
you
come
have to
on,
sit
they're like my
across
two
the-
vices.
You have to sit across the table from me with no alcohol for like an hour.
Yeah.
It's going to be
it's
tough.
hard. Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
And then I had to sit in a car tomorrow for an hour and a half with no coffee.
Wow.
Dead.
Wow. Wow. And you go past really good coffee. But yeah, anyway, something I kind of thought about today that I wanted to chat about is how people really find it hard to understand our friendship. Like people these days need a label. Like the amount of conversations I've had with people are like, trying to make us label our friendship. Like we do label, we say we're best friends, but like people really, I find it hard to understand just best friends that, hang out like we do and, are who we are. Because it's like, I said this the other day, people would find it easier to understand if we were like, we're an open relationship or, like that kind of situation.
Yeah, I was
would
gonna
find
say that.
easier than understanding.
Because
we're just best
an open
friends.
relationship is a label. And it fits into like a little, people don't understand it, but it fits into a little box. So people don't understand that we can just be best friends.
I find it really
confuses
interesting.
people. So that's what I said to somebody the other day. They're like, I don't get it. And I was like, well, what? Do you want me to put a label on my relationship so it makes you feel better about the situation that I'm in? And one of my friends was like, oh yeah, that totally doesn't make sense, does it?
No, well, it's the same as like the whole like gender thing. Like I think that's another, everyone needs, like, why does someone have to say what they are? Like, I don't know. Like you could just be like, I'm me, like I'm in this, so I just feel like we need labels in this current society. And I don't know why. It's like, just.
That's
be
a
like,
very,
are you happy?
very
I think-
dangerous can of worms that you're
I
about
know,
to
but
open there.
It's almost like, you just need to be like, are you happy? Yes.
And that's what I say to
all
people
that
all the
matters.
time. Are you happy? If the answer is yes, then keep doing
Yeah,
what
why do
you're
you
doing.
care?
Why does it
Like,
matter?
just move on forward. Is it
Yeah.
affecting you? No, it isn't. So just,
Keep
but
going.
also next week, guys, you will probably, fingers crossed, this should be a new setup. I'm excited for that. We've got some new couches and different things. We're just going to make it a bit more of a chilled vibe and
Doing things a bit differently in the coming weeks, that's for
I'm
sure.
excited. I'm enjoying where the podcast is going. We got last week, for some reason, just really everyone got amongst it, which was great. And it's just good to hear a bit of feedback.
It was because we stuffed it up.
But no, like just feedback, and people were saying like surgeons are starting to recommend the podcast and different things like that,
it's
which
cool.
I'm really because that's what we want. We want people to be able to be part
People
of
are
this.
starting to recognise our voices too, because I did a podcast with B and Multi the other day, and someone messaged me and went, "Oh, I could tell you were nervous. Your laugh was different."
Oh wow. Yeah, it wasn't as high.
Oh, God.
Well, that's the thing. You're not drinking tonight, so it might not get as high pitched as it usually does.
Oh, shut
I
up.
usually enjoy that. Anyway, we stopped chatting about us because we actually have a spectacular guest tonight. Someone that I rate pretty highly. She's I'm giving it away. But she's a really cool young lady, and I'm looking forward to learning a lot more about her. So, let's introduce her. Get get her on. I didn't even know what that was. I was like,
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing
let's
now.
juice
Like,
her.
let's
But let's get her on, have a chat, and learn a little bit more about this person.
So tonight our guest had the Roux-en-Y bypass back in 2017 through the public system. With a loss of 63.5 kilos, she's been more than open about her struggles, both mentally and physically. I think that she's an absolute inspiration and somebody who I've been following for a very long time. Please welcome tonight's guest, Stacey. And I think Stacey Chaotic on Instagram. Have you recently changed your name? Because I swear it never used to be that.
No. So I have two accounts.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, so there's Stacey Chaotic and there's Stacey Chaotic Fit, which my 6-year anniversary for the Fit account was on Sunday.
Oh,
actually.
Is it sixth anniversary, did you say? Six?
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
Since
Wow.
I decided to take my life back.
Instagram's been around for 6 years, and that makes me feel really old. I feel like 6 years ago, MySpace was here.
No, that particular account was around 6 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow, that's really interesting. So, yeah, anyway, like I said before, you ready to get juiced?
We're going to get nice and juicy.
I don't even know
what even was that? I don't know.
I don't know.
This is what happens when I don't drink wine. Shannon just lets loose and just
juicing people all over the place. So I actually didn't realize. I thought you were a sleeper, but you had the gastric bypass, did you?
Yeah. So I mean, I had the choice. They gave me the choice at the original appointment, but my diabetes, type 2 diabetes, was my biggest struggle. And they were just like, there's a certain percentage of people who can be cured of it if you go the bypass route. So I took that with both hands and ran with it.
And you cured it, so to speak?
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. I've been in remission, they call it, since the day after my surgery.
Wow. Were you insulin dependent?
Medication. No, I was just on metformin.
Yep.
But I had to take that 3 times a day. And they're like big, really big tablets.
Horse tablets.
They're gross.
And so you went into surgery and then you literally just never took them again?
Pretty much, yeah.
That blows my mind.
like
I don't understand it. Do they just cut the diabetes out of you at the same time?
I wonder if that's got to do, like what we were talking about before, how it bypasses a certain amount of the small intestine, I think it is. So it's like it doesn't suck all the nutrition out of it, which can make people not get the nutrition they need.
Yeah.
What's that called, that word that I'm looking for?
Malnourishment.
I wonder if that falls into diabetes as well. Like if it...
That is the spot. That is the part. That,
Wow.
Look at you being all smart and stuff here.
I know how the plumbing works. Not really.
I don't know the technical word.
No, that's it. I just call it.
You got it.
This pipe goes to that pipe and it makes that pipe go good.
So you went through the public system.
Yeah. When I was like 23, 24, I was really sick and in a little bit of denial about my diabetes. I didn't take my medication. Didn't eat right. I was like, I am 23 years old. I'm not sick. I'm on top of the world. Meanwhile, never left the house for like a year. And I got really sick and I got an abscess that happened to be on my butt. The size of a baseball.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they said if I had left it any longer, I would have gone into like septic shock, kind of. Yeah, they basically said I would have died.
Wow. So an abscess is like, I guess, like a pussy. Oh, yeah, I don't want to go too far into this one,
especially considering it was on her butt too.
It's think about like a pimple times 10 million. I think.
Wow.
And because there would have been so much like pus and infection in there, you could have gone into sepsis, which is pretty much you poison your own body.
Yeah, pretty much. And because of the placement, the arteries, it was very close.
And did that happen because like your body just was in a bad way? Like, so it's just starting to, because like I know like when I was younger, I got someone stabbed me with a dirty toenail, and I got what's it called? It's called golden staph. And then ever since then, I've kind of ended up with like I used to get school sores and stuff like that. So like once it's in your body, it kind of, I always seem to get these weird little lumps and bumps everywhere.
Yeah, I'm the same. I got.
Yeah, my dad gets it. all the time.
I got golden staph from I went to a music festival and I bought some gum boots because, that's all the craze when you go to music festivals. But when I was overweight, my calf muscles were too big to fit into the gum boots that I bought. So the day before the festival, I just got some scissors and hacked into the gum boots and I wore them in the mud. And I was dancing around them for like 12 hours and I ended up cutting myself with the rubber from the gum boot and it was just getting like mud and dirt and stuff was just going into it for like 12 hours and I gave myself golden staph on my leg and then ever since then, same thing. If I get stressed or run down or whatever, like school sores like appear and it's just I wonder if it's like herpes, it just never goes away.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's it.
We're all a bunch of doctors here.
Come on, Stacey, tell us what it is. No, but I wonder if it is because your body was just like kind of, you're suffering with diabetes and different things, and your immune system was low, and that was kind of what came about because of that.
Well, not long before that, I actually had appendicitis, and then I found out that I had diabetes after I had appendicitis. So my body was just slowly but surely shutting down. Because the appendicitis is also your immune system.
Immune system, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that your appendix is like your first line of defense.
So you went into hospital for your appendix and then you found out about your diabetes and then you had a nice little abscess on your butt and then so you were in hospital for those different sorts of things. And then so how did you then go from doing those into deciding to have like your surgery?
Okay, so they put me on the wait list when I had the surgery to fix the abscess issue, and I basically just said yes because that experience was really traumatic. The nurses didn't really treat me very well, but I appreciate their opinions because. That nurse, that particular nurse that I'm talking about, she changed my life. She just told me to pull my head out and like, you're too young to be treating yourself like this.
Wow. And at the time you were probably like, I hate you, but then you were kind of like, okay, I need to do something about this.
Yeah, well, at the time I did. I thought she was the most horrible person on this planet. But they put me in a room with another woman who was in her 60s, who had diabetes, but had also lost both of her legs to diabetes. And she expressed herself at nighttime how much she didn't want to be here anymore. She just wanted. Wow. It was traumatic. Gives me nightmares, and it's pretty much what that. Around about 6 years ago is when I started my fitness account on Instagram. So.
Do you reckon that nurse did that on purpose to like just kick some
totally
sense into you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, she totally did. I wish I knew her name because I would go back and thank her.
Wow.
Yeah. At the time you were cursing her, but now you look back at it and you go, she was doing the right thing by me because you need that shock.
Yeah.
You needed to.
There's nothing like a bit of hard dose of reality from a complete stranger to just sort of rock your world.
So did you find the public system quite easy to navigate, or was it a bit of a logistical nightmare?
So I kind of forgot that I was put on the wait list for a little bit and was trying to exercise myself and just try and work on losing weight myself. And I kind of got a call like a year and a half later, like, do you still want this procedure? And they kind of had a chat to me about like what I've been doing. And at the time I was exercising like 6 days a week at like 140 kilos. This nurse, she scared the shit out of me. I'd never wanted to be healthy so much in my life. So they rang me and they're just like, okay, we're going to bump you. We're going to bump you like at the top of the list. We're going to get you in ASAP.
Wow.
And they, got me in ASAP.
So they wouldn't have had like aftercare and, you know, did you have to meet with dietitians and psychologists prior?
I did meet with a dietitian, not a psychologist. Wish I had psychologists. Like, they're pretty useful, apparently.
Yeah, they go all right.
A dietitian, yes, but I kind of felt like I had the knowledge. I was very wrong. And she felt like I had the knowledge. because of I obviously I sweet talked her. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
And yeah, so I didn't really see a dietitian.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's hard because like a good dietitian, like there's a dietitian and there's a dietitian. There's someone who actually wants to educate you, and then there's dietitians who just want to tick the box. Because I did find that
I'm
as well.
pretty sure I was a ticked box.
Yeah, and through the public system, and that would be my only concern that, you know, because it is a numbers game, because obviously they need to just get you through, are they giving you the actual attention that you need
or
to
you just
educate you? Or you just being like, come in, tick, see you later. Like, because there's definitely a difference. And I realize now, you know, 3 years out, I had no idea when it came to nutrition. Like, you know, I thought cheese was a great source of, you know, dairy. I didn't look at everything else, you know, around it. And
you looked at the one thing and you went, cheese is good for this, but then you didn't go, but it's bad for this, and this.
Like I'd look at it and be like, oh, there's like protein in cheese and
what in cheese? Protein.
I don't know, it just sounded right. Protein in cheese, you know, there's dairy, so it must be good for me. I wasn't looking the other part where there's like a lot of sugar and different things like that. So, you know, I definitely realized I had no idea when it came to nutrition. I was just very lucky that I got in with a dietitian who actually wanted to, you know, break me down and kind of make me understand.
And that's the difference too, that there are some dietitians out there, and you can tell there's people who go into rooms and they've probably read up everything that they need to about the surgery, and they go in there and they tell the dietitian this, and the dietitians go, yeah, okay, cool, and they just leave it at that. But I didn't have that, like, that little saving grace, whereas I started working with my dietitian about a year prior to me having surgery.
Yeah.
So Sally sat me down and she was like, right, you've just told me everything that you think that I want to hear, but you're going to tell me the truth now. And she sat there and she worked with me for a full year before I had my surgery and was like, okay, so this is the problem. And what my actual problem was is that I wasn't eating enough calories throughout the day to sustain what I was doing exercise-wise. So I was holding weight. But then on the other end of the scale, on the weekends, I just binge and sabotage. So I was kind of like calorie withholding and then binging. So I'd go from one extreme to another, all within a space of 7 days.
Because it is something you need to constantly update too, because I talked about it a while back where it was like I got to a point where I was exercising 7 days a week and I was still eating like a weight loss patient. And I didn't realize at the time that that's actually doing more harm than good, because your body needs fuel. You know, and if you're not giving it through the food sources you're eating, it's taking it from other places, like muscle. You know, that's why I don't have a six pack.
That's why you're so muscly right now.
Because I was just, you know.
But I guess taking it back to before surgery, before you ended up in hospital for all these little mishaps, what was it that, like, what were you like before this? What were you like at school? What was it that you think made you sort of get to being so unhealthy prior to needing surgery?
Honestly, I think it's upbringing, relationships. I had a really long-term relationship that kind of was a lot of gaslighting. And like, I don't know, he kind of fed me and kept me fat, I guess.
What's gaslighting? That's a new term for me. What's that? Is that
kind of like giving you a different version of reality. That's how I look at it. Like, things don't seem the way that they are to everyone else.
So I just Googled it. It says gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse where a person or group makes someone question their sanity, perception of reality, or memories.
Oh, wow.
I was right on the money.
Yeah,
you got it.
Okay. Wow.
So it's pretty much like they make you feel like your reality isn't what like what it actually is, if that makes sense. So like they'll almost belittle you into thinking a different way.
Because I read a thing the other day that was talking about the Bachelor and Bachelorette, and like, because I always wondered, like, why are all these girls fighting over this guy? Why are all these guys fighting over this girl? Because it's the same situation. You put in a situation where, you know, the focus is on one person. It becomes like a want needs
common denominator.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of that situation where you put in a situation where they're giving you a little bit of what you need while manipulating you a different way.
It's a form of, like, I think of it as a form of sort of like narcissism and like manipulation and that sort of thing. They're pretty much just, they make you feel uncomfortable about certain situations and make you do other things in order to not be in the situation that you want to be in. But it's really hard to explain.
How long were you in that relationship for, Stace?
I was in that relationship from 16 to 22.
And were you overweight when you were 16, or was it this the sort
No,
of,
no, I was 78 kilos. I've yo-yoed all my life. At 13 I was 100, but at 11 I was 49 kilos.
Whoa.
So there's a lot of back and forth. But by the time I was in that relationship for a year, I'd gotten up to 120. And yeah, so and my highest 149, and that was towards the end of that relationship. So
wow. So he was a feeder. So he was feeding you as like a reward system, or is it he was feeding you, or that was just like kind of your basis of your relationship was around food?
I think our relationship was based around food. He used to work at Hungry Jack's, and he'd just come pick me up after school and just give me Hungry Jack's.
Yum. That sounds
and I would eat
ideal.
Oh my God.
I mean, at the time, I was just like, oh, fuck, love those snack wraps.
Yeah, give me that Whopper.
Seasoned bacon deluxe. Yeah.
I used to work at KFC, and my best friend, who like I'm still best friends with her, I used to get so annoyed because she would always eat all the KFC at the end of the day because you could take it home with you. If you didn't sell it at the end, you took anything out of the hot box, and like I would look at the oil in the chicken that you cook the chicken in, and I'd gain 3 kilos, whereas she'd take home like 3 massive boxes a night and she just would not gain weight. And I'd be like, you little bitch. Like, it's just so annoying that there's different body types, obviously, and my body type was seafood and gain weight, whereas she just didn't. Like, it just sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I actually refuse to apply for any job that is related to food.
Oh, I would be the same.
That's smart.
I remember I learned to ride a bike with no hands really well purely because I used to work at Domino's and ride home eating a pizza. With no hands. Like it was like 10 Ks, and I used to be able to ride home.
Put that on your resume.
I know. This boy had priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, like you said, obviously you've yo-yo dieted your whole life. How did that mentally, like, you said when you were 11 you were a certain weight, then by the time you were 13 you're a different weight and that sort of thing. So you were obviously yo-yoed quite quickly as well. What did that do for your mental health and diet culture?
My mental health, it was bad. Kids at school literally didn't want to wear the uniform because I was wearing it. That's
God,
literally words that were said. Yeah. Like when I'd gained I'd gained like 50 kilos in less than a year, which is obviously really concerning. But like kids, they care about the image rather than and body dysmorphia kicked in real bad because you don't notice the changes straight away. So I've never really felt like I could look in the mirror and actually see who I was because I didn't know because I was constantly changing. And I still kind of feel that way.
And what age did that start? Like what age are we talking here?
11. Wow. Yeah.
So your schooling experience, you wouldn't say was a pleasant experience?
No, I've been to 10 schools.
10 schools?
4 primary schools, 6 high schools. 4 of the high schools were in 1 year.
Wow. And is that because you were bullied and stuff, or?
It's more home life. My home life has never been stable.
Okay.
I used to live on the Gold Coast at one point. I loved it there. Man, everyone's so active and fun. It's cool. I miss it.
You know what's even cooler than the Gold Coast? The Sunshine Coast.
So do you think...
I hear some pretty bad people live there.
Yeah, no, terrible people. I heard this leader go, she's riff-raff. But do you feel like that played a big part in, the gaining of the weight, the mental health, the early stages with the home life, moving around and stuff like that? Do you think, looking back now, that played a massive part into why you ended up struggling?
Yeah, 100%. Binge eating is, I've never been technically diagnosed, but that's pretty much how I gained.
Yeah.
Like, originally it would be from not eating, hence the 49 kilos. But when I moved to a different place where there was access to more food, binge eating was a big contributor, and I've been like that ever since.
Yeah, because I haven't been diagnosed, but I definitely would be a binge eater. Like, because obviously I never ate breakfast, lunch, and then I'd come home and I'd just eat everything in the house. So I assume that would fall. Yeah, that would fall under the category of binge eating, right? Because it's like it's kind of like binge drinking. It's like you drink a lot or you eat a lot at one time.
I don't actually know what the technical term of. Because I call myself a closet eater because I used to eat quite healthy.
You ate in the closet? You sat in the closet?
I sat in the closet and ate. But no, I used to eat regular meals and I used to eat quite healthy meals. But then given the chance on a weekend or whatever, if I got my pocket money, I'd run down to the shops and I'd eat an entire bag of Allen's lollies behind Mum's back so that she didn't know that I was eating them. But clearly she knew. I went down the shop with $3. I came back with nothing and all of a sudden I didn't want dinner. Yeah. And I'm running around the house because I'd just eaten an entire bag of snakes. It wasn't rocket science to figure out what I was doing. So, I mean, I guess that would probably be a bit of binge eating as well.
I think it would fall under it, wouldn't it?
That's like secret eating.
Yeah, closet eating secret. I don't know.
But you ate a whole bag of snakes.
I know I started that over ISO. I didn't want to share my food with Reese.
Yeah, but no one likes to share food.
I would go get snacks, but I'll get a secret snack for myself.
Yeah. Just talked about, obviously, your gaslighting, great relationship that you had when you were a bit younger. You're with a new man now. What a man.
He actually is a new man now too.
What a man.
What a man. Oh, it's turned into karaoke. Here we go. So, Reese, how old were you when you met him? Meet him.
25.
Okay.
25.
How old are you now?
She's a baby.
I'm turning 29 in May.
Oh, she's not that much of a baby.
That happened.
She's a baby. She's a baby.
And COVID happened and you turned 29.
30s are ready. They're ready to get me.
How did you meet Reese? Let's do that story. How did you meet him? Where were you? Was it Tinder?
Beta bar.
Beta bar?
Because we're big old nerds. It's a gaming bar.
Oh, gaming bar. That's a bit cute.
Yeah. It's Game of Thrones night, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
I know what that is.
Good job.
Yep.
Wow. Game of Thrones. Okay. I don't know much about gaming. I was trying to think of a pun was it love at first nighting? I don't even know if that's a term that gamers use. I feel like it would be not. Okay.
He pretended to stream. He knew about streaming because I was talking about streaming because I used to game. And I started a Twitch account. And he just lied his ass off.
The way to a woman's heart, just lying from the first time you met them.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he's a bit of a charmer, actually.
He is. You got me
with his good old cheeky smile. That's what got me. We started dating maybe 3 months after that. It was July 2016.
Because he's actually just recently had surgery as well, hasn't he?
Yes, in October.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by he's a new man because he's
a newbie.
He's a new man.
Little baby bypass.
Did you have much influence into him taking that step?
Whoa, maybe a little.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to live with someone who's as successful as you are and not be like, maybe I might look into it a little bit further because,
I may have been a little bit over the top, nudgy, naggy. Possibly, it's probably not as good for our relationship as it could have been. But now I think he and myself sees that it was actually for the best that he did this. Because he's got a whole new lease on life, and that's all I wanted him to feel. I wanted him to feel what I felt. Yeah. That weight just literally lifted off.
And a bit like the nurse situation that you were in originally, you probably at the time didn't particularly appreciate the advice and the information that you were getting, but looking back on it now, he's probably, thankful.
Yeah.
He's thankful now, but when I originally got surgery, he was so against it. It scared the crap out of him. For rightfully so. Like I had my own complications. He had his own complications where we were just the one percenters who are very unlucky.
I want to actually get into that. I don't want to go into his story because I would really like to get him on later on down the track.
And understand his.
Yeah, so we want to, like, as much as you guys are another bariatric couple, we want to interview both separately because you had some pretty interesting complications to start off with the beginning of your journey too, because I know that you said that you had an original surgery date booked for October 2017, but then your actual surgery date was November 2017. Did you go in both times, or like what happened?
So the first time I went in, I did pre-op fine. It was all good. Everything was all G. I lost 8 kilos. They were happy with that. I'd quit smoking. Oh my Lord. Like they were just all happy, and I woke up and they were like, we couldn't do it. And I had a panic attack. I was just like, what did I do wrong? They never really told me until just before the second surgery. But they put a hole in my colon and nicked my kidney.
So they waited a month before telling you that that's what had happened?
Yes.
So for a whole month you were pretty much blaming yourself for not being able to have surgery, but really
it was a case of they were just like, just wait it out. Did she die? No, she didn't. All right, we'll tell you now. You can't sue us now.
It was. I think it was a liable thing.
Yeah.
My one of my family members went in all gung ho, and I was just like, can you please stop? I just want my surgery. Like, I know I've seen what this surgery does for people. I just want the surgery. Like, I'm on the public waiting list. I don't have private health. They are giving me a miracle. If they're willing to try again, I want it. Stop.
God, that's a really good way of looking at it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like all that particular family member thought was like money, money, money. And I'm like, I don't care about the money. Like, I just want my surgery.
Yeah. You want to get on with life and start living that new life.
Yeah.
I totally
exactly.
Get that. Yeah. So they literally, so they went in and they stuffed up. They're like, and they like stuffed it up, and then they're like, we'll seal it back up and send her away.
Superman.
Yeah.
Turns out I'm Superman and have like abs of steel. They could not get through and broke all the utensils to get in there.
Oh, wow. That's it. Girl can
whatever they're called. I'm real good at English.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate. Have you heard
the scalpel? It broke.
Yeah. The knifey sharp thing.
So basically with muscles, right, apparently they push it through so it heals better. So it heals like that. But cutting with the scalpel, it doesn't heal because it's a straight line, apparently. So, yeah, they had to actually cut rather than push through.
Yeah.
So do you have bigger scars than everybody else then?
I can't really see them anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're just my tiger stripes are more prominent now than my my bariatric surgery scar.
Tiger stripes.
But,
yeah.
So I'm trying to picture it because you were just saying. Sorry, Shannon and I are obviously just both really curious about this, but like because you were saying like they instead of just like poking a little hole through and going in that way, was it still classed as a laparoscopic or did they have to open you up?
No, it was still classed as laparoscopic. So basically, they cut your skin to get to your muscle, right?
Yeah.
And then they push through rather than cut. But because they kept on breaking. I don't know what they are.
Scalpels?
The knives. They kept on breaking the knives.
They're breaking the sticks. I don't know.
Yep.
But they said they broke like 6 or 7 before they forced through and it accidentally hit my colon and my kidney.
Oh, my God.
They just went straight.
I don't know if this is a public system thing because I had my nose done through the public system, like had a little sunspot cut off and like my doctor was like, have you 1 or 2 stitches? I came out and I had 7 stitches to take this tiny little thing out. And I'm like,
they kind of went, whoops.
Like, if you don't make it as like a normal surgeon, do they put them into the public system or something? Like,
no, because a lot of private surgeons work through a public system as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so my surgeon is actually Reese's surgeon. But obviously Reese went private, I went public.
No, I
recommended that surgeon.
Yeah.
Because my original surgeon was actually like not a fully qualified surgeon. If that makes sense. it's a teaching hospital.
Ah.
And like my surgeon stood in to rectify the problems.
Yeah. So apart from like the complications you had with the first surgery, have you had any complications since?
I'm dealing with some pain at the moment. They can't really figure out what's going on. I don't have gallstones. I've had so many tests and whatnot, but I'm going for a CT scan. So I don't know.
CT? Isn't that your head? No.
They can do a CT scan anyway.
Oh, okay. I had it on my head.
Yeah. My surgeon said that possibly I might have like a twisted bowel because I can literally feel like something twisting in my stomach, like area.
Oh, wow. So you had your surgery in 2017. So I guess I'm going to use the word complications that you're going through at the moment might not necessarily be directly linked to your bariatric surgery. It could just be your body is doing its thing now, and
It's my surgeon said I actually had the appointment today. He said that it's a bypass thing, apparently. Like
I was just trying to give bariatric surgery like a good rap, and you're like, no, it was because of my surgery.
Usually,
I was trying real hard just then, Stace.
If I get a plumber in to reroute my kitchen sink and I get a leak 4 years later, it's probably to do with what that plumber did under that sink. That's a big thing, like with bariatric surgery, and especially I think that's kind of why I didn't go the bypass and I went the sleeve, because I know the more things I touch, the more things that could possibly go wrong.
Yeah.
It's the same as in your body. It's like with a sleeve, it's like, my surgeon showed me the big freaking pair of tongs and he's like, I'm just going to go.
It out and it's gone.
And that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's the thing with the sleeve, you've got risk of having leaks early on. And I think that's why I was kind of saying, with the sleeve, 4 years out, if you got something wrong. Like I remember after I had my surgery, about a year out from surgery, I called my surgeon because I was having pain and stuff, and he was like, look, you're about 14 months post-op. The chances are that anything that you're going through right now actually is not related to your sleeve surgery because it's fully healed now and all that sort of thing. And it wasn't. It was my appendix. So I guess that's where with the sleeve, yes, it's you're chopping your stomach out, but once it's sort of healed, it's generally you're done.
Yeah.
Whereas with the bypass, because you are rerouting your entire plumbing system, I guess there are issues that can come out later on down the track.
Yeah, there are some issues, but bypass really gets a bad rap, man. That's one thing I do struggle with seeing on Instagram where people have to get revisions is like they're really bashing the bypass.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh man, this thing saved my life.
I heard a thing the other day that it was meant to be a 2-step process. So like the sleeve was meant to be the first step and then the bypass was meant to be the second step. So weight loss surgery originally was meant to be a 2-step process, but then they realized that after doing the sleeve that they were getting really good results from it. So they didn't need the second stage. So, somewhere along the line, because it sounds like the end result was meant to be the Sadies, because the Sadies is a sleeved bypass. Like that is, they've cut it down and they've bypassed it. So I think that was the original plan, was to have a sleeve and then go to the bypass, and because obviously a lot of people with reflux issues end up going bypass anyway.
So they just cut the sleeve. They just got rid of that step. But then many people...
I just wish I knew understood it better. Like every time I sit down with my surgeon, and I'm due to see him this month, I have so many questions for him. Like I sit down and I'm like, so tell me, when you cut, I'm like, inform me. I want to understand this from your angle, because there's so many different things that come along, like gallbladder issues. Like, why do you have gallbladder issues? Because like 90% of people within the weight loss community have had their gallbladder out. Have you had your gallbladder out?
No, I haven't. I still have mine.
Me too.
Yay!
We could be a group. Alita doesn't. Don't tell her.
But a lot of the time too, though, your gallbladder, and this is what I found out, that it's not necessarily a direct relation to after having weight loss surgery. A lot of the time you're already suffering from gall attacks. It's just that your body is so unfit and so unhealthy that you don't realize that you're actually having these attacks.
You end up so used to being in pain and pushing it back. Once you lose the weight, you're like, oh crap, I'm still in pain. What is going on? And that's why I've been so persistent with my GP, with my surgeon. Like I've been in pain since June last year. 3 weeks ago, I was vomiting in a shopping bin, like a local shops in the bin, because I was in so much pain and I have no idea what's going on. So like, and you just got to be persistent, I guess, is what I'm saying.
And that was one thing that I said to somebody the other day too. Like, I've turned into somebody who, if I have a niggle, I go get it checked out. If I have this, I go get it checked out. Because for the longest time, I put my health second. You know, I put it off for so long.
So you turned into a pansy.
Shut up.
Do some concrete.
No, but like if there's something that's not quite right, I wait a bit, and if it doesn't go away, then yes, you need to go get it looked at, because 100%. I put for the longest time, and then look at where it led us all. You know, we put ourselves second for so long that I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to live in pain. I don't want to hold myself back because I'm too ashamed to go to the doctors and find out what's actually wrong with me.
Oh yeah, because like if you go to if you went to the doctors back then, they'll be like, okay, lose some weight. That's your issue.
Yeah. It always was.
And now I've done the thing. Now what? What have you got? Huh?
Yeah.
You've lost too much weight. Put some weight back on.
You broke your leg or you broke your arm. It's due to because you overweight. No, I got hit by a car. No, it's due to you being overweight. Okay, doc. Yeah. Thank you. So you had quite a tough first year. I was reading through a bit of your stuff, and like, so in the first year, it wasn't an easy one for you, was it?
No. Mainly due to personal reasons. My mum passing away, my auntie getting cancer, who I was caring for, and obviously surgery, relationships, just everything. It was just kind of, the first year was actually pretty terrible.
Yeah. How was your mental health around all that? Because that is a lot.
Could have been better. I think the mental health stuff didn't really kick in until after my mum died, where I started to notice that like anxiety reached a whole new plane. I couldn't even tell you. And like I developed like alcohol issues, and like it's self-medicating, I guess.
Well, I was about to ask you that because like prior to having weight loss surgery, would you eat your emotions? Was that something is that how you used to cope with things, or?
Yeah, 100%. Because then chips.
After weight loss surgery, you obviously can't eat your emotions, or you can try, but you're going to end up making yourself feel sick and all of that. So what was your coping mechanisms to help you through those tough times?
Cigarettes and alcohol. I in saying that, I did stop drinking until my birthday after surgery. So 6 months I waited, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
I think, considering like when I do drink, it's pretty bad.
So during that first year, obviously, because your mum passed away and different things, like you didn't have alcohol. What were you doing to, were you just curling up in a ball in the shower and crying to deal with it? Or like, because it's not an easy thing. Like me literally sitting here thinking about losing my mum, like when you were talking about that, I was like being like, God, that is going to be a bad day for me. Like
2 days after she passed away, I joined a football team.
So just started tackling people? It's like...
Yeah, I guess so. No, like I exercise. Exercise was my go-to. I was at parkrun every week. I went to the gym at least 4 days a week, and then football 3 days a week. I hit the ground running.
Yeah, well, that's a conversation I actually had with my mum this week, because like my mum broke her toe and she's been told she can't run for 3 weeks. So, and she's really finding it hard, the same as like I tore my calf muscle, and I found it really hard to, deal with not having that, because like for me, if I have a bad day now, I chuck in a podcast, I chuck in some music, and I just go for a run or a ride, whatever it is. Like I just get out there, I just kind of get in my own head and just process things. And so my mum this week telling me about that, I was kind of like, I do really get that, because that is my processing. That's my vice now. That is me being able to get myself past that point of really...
Because you got time to think about things. You got to and physical exercise releases
endorphins and the endorphins.
Yeah, well...
It's contagious.
Yeah.
Bad English.
The happy feels.
Yeah, the happy feels.
No, and it is. And like, so Mum, when she was talking to me about that last night, I was like, I totally get that, because that's like where I'm at. And that's like why I was in such a crappy place for the last 3 weeks, is purely because I just couldn't, I had nothing. Like
You couldn't get your release.
Yeah, I was, all this stuff was building up and I just had no way of getting rid of it, because I was just stuck in the house and moping around and just feeling sluggish and just mentally not very witty with it. But yeah, so I totally get that. So like, you in that first year joining up the football club and stuff like that was your way of kind of dealing with things and distracting yourself from what was going on.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. So with the alcohol thing, have you got on top of that? Like, these days, do you feel like...
I've drunk twice this year. Sorry to my football friends who will be listening to this probably. I got pretty drunk 2 weeks ago, and won't be getting drunk anytime soon.
You won't? No? I love that you like have to explain that to your football friends. So it's like, guys...
Yeah. Oh, no, I haven't really spoken to them about it, but I've been feeling guilty.
Oh, so you're like...
So please add that in
Yeah.
there.
So how do you feel like... So you're... How many years out are you now? Like
17 to 21.
I just hit 3 years.
3 years.
3 years in November.
And you touched on before that even when from a young age, body dysmorphia was quite a thing for you. You've lost, 60-something kilos since your heaviest, if not more. Body dysmorphia, you talk about it quite often on your socials as well. It's something that you still deal with, right?
100%. I gained 20 kilos mid-year last year from my lightest, and I didn't know. I couldn't see it, and all of a sudden one day I saw it in the mirror, and then I didn't look at myself in the mirror for a month. Wow. And that's kind of when I realised, need to get my bloods checked. Something's not right, because my head wasn't right, and turns out I was low in iron and B12. And that's how I know my mental health is bad. Is
deteriorating again.
Yeah. With my bloods. So get your bloods checked, everyone.
Yeah.
I messaged you it must have been a couple months ago now, because there was a little while there where you on your stories, you were just like, you were dancing every day and you were real like trying to pick yourself up, and you were going through this whole sort of like, I'm just accepting who I am as a person. I'm pretty sure I sent you a message and I was just like, God damn, I love you. Like what you're doing right now. It was just so like amazing to see.
That made my month. That made my month. I was just like, this beautiful human being has reached out to me.
But you could just see it. Like you were radiating. You were just, I think I don't know what happened with you at that point, but you just kind of like, you were glowing. You were like, you know what, I'm just going to get out of my little funk and I'm just going to do me. I'm going to own who I am as a person. And that's what I said to you. I sent you the message and I was just like, you are just radiating at the moment. So whatever you were doing, it was working.
I need to figure out what I was doing, because I'm in a funk right now, and I need to like
just put some music on and just dance in front of your camera again.
I think it's a constant thing you need to monitor too, because like it's not like you can just tick a box and then it's good for there on in. I think it's something you need to constantly monitor, and like that's what I was talking about with the running and different things like before. It's like I need to constantly have that to kind of keep moving forward, because if you lose focus of like where you're at, it's not long before you fall back into either a bad mindset or bad habits.
Yeah.
And you kind of get in this spiral.
It's really difficult, because like I think it's like diet culture and all that. Like consistently, I'm trying to get to this point where I feel like I should be at, and I have moments where I'm like, is this the rest of my life? like I just want to feel normal and feel happy within myself. And it's just a constant back and forth. And you'll probably see it. I'm not always rainbows and lollipops on my Instagram. I spent a long time being really negative, but sometimes I do come out of it and I'm happy as Larry, and that's what I want to be. That's what I aspire to be. I want to be that Stacey. I don't want to be silent and espresso.
But I think that's also a really good thing to do too, not always just post the rainbows and sunshines and the flowers and all that. Like, I think that's why I've always loved following your journey since, because I was following you from the very beginning, and like you have been keeping it real the whole time. And it is a good way for you to look back too. And when you are going through a bit of a funk, if you can look back and go, oh, well, you know, this changed and this changed, it's a good way to keep yourself accountable as well, I guess, and try and figure out your highs and your lows.
It is. Like that account is my diary. And yeah, it's actually really good to look back, because I'm just like, oh my God, that, like, I was that, and now I'm this, and that's awesome. What the hell?
Yeah, I think it's got to be, at the end of the day, life isn't rainbow and sunshine, you know, rainbow and lollipops. As you said, I was going to say
life
rainbow.
Life
it's
isn't
tough.
linear.
It is.
It's not linear.
No, you can't sit there and pretend like it's always rainbows, because it's not. But I think that's one thing I always put across, and like, because I always get criticised about always sharing rainbows and blah blah. But it's like, you know, for me,
you know what, that changes someone else.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly it. Like, if like I don't give focus to the negative stuff, because I try and, like, you know, because in the day, life's tough. You know, everyone is on Instagram, as much as they may portray life's amazing, we're all going through the 50% good, 50% bad. Like, every day, you know, has your struggles. Every day has good things, but it's like whatever you give focus to is usually how you move forward. So, you know, for me, if I said that today, if it's, you know, when there's no sunlight, a sunflower draws energy from another sunflower. And I said that today. So, like, you know, and that I said, try and be someone else's sunflower. Yeah. Because at the end of the day,
I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. I read that once and I was like, I really like that, because at the end of the day, we all need to understand no one's life's easy. Like, life is hard. It's meant to be hard. It's meant to test us, but it's also, some people aren't climbing the mountain as well as others. And you need to just, you know, sometimes take a step back and just be like, I need to do this for others rather than myself. Yeah. So I think it's really important. Yeah. Well, you smashed this process, by the way. Like, something I really want to talk about is you did the 1,000 steps. So I went, by the way, 1,000 steps in Victoria is apparently 1,000 steps, isn't it? Is it?
Yes. Well, yeah. Technically, there's like 772 steps.
Oh, we've been robbed. It should be called 777 steps, not 1,000 steps.
It's something to do with Kokoda too, though, isn't it? It's a memorial for Kokoda.
Yeah, 100%. It's meant to represent the tracking in Papua New Guinea.
Because we did that with you 2 years ago.
But it gave me mad appreciation for you when I did it, because I remember you did it with a weight on you, didn't you?
You did it with a 50-kilo weight vest, didn't you?
Yes, or it was a 30-kilo weight vest, and I grabbed weights and just added it in there somehow. I just kind of held it. It hurt a lot, but I was proud as hell.
I was proud for you.
You did that for charity, didn't you? You raised money for a foundation or something, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Beyond Blue. I raised $2,500 for Beyond Blue in dedication to my mum. Because she did lose her life to suicide, and I wanted to make awareness to it, because before COVID, it wasn't really a big thing. Like, suicide was a taboo. But then COVID hit, and everyone's like, "Oh, we've got to think of the people," which is good. I am so glad that, like, awareness was really up there, because I was really worried for people.
Like, and that hurt when you said that about your mum. But you know, I think that's something. Another reason I need to bring this fact up, because it was a fact that really hit home for me, that the biggest cause of death after weight loss surgery is suicide. Yep. And I think that's why Beyond Blue is a very good cause to get I don't think know that. Yeah. I heard that once, and it was like the biggest cause of death after weight loss surgery is suicide. So, guys, and because you got to understand, like we talked about this before, but people are in a dark place, and like that's, you know, before you go and put, you know, a bit of hatred on someone, you need to understand, like, we've come from a pretty, you know, hard place, and you know, feeling like, that's my biggest thing, is I always want people to feel accepted, because you don't want to be that person that, like, you know, I've had hate before, like, from people, and I never want to be that person that pushes someone else over the edge. So, like, if someone hates on me, I just let them hate on me, because I can understand that they're probably part of that statistic, that they're struggling, you know what I mean? And they're deflecting their emotions to someone else. And hearing that statistic where it was like the biggest cause of death after weight loss surgery is suicide, it makes a lot of sense to me, because, like, I was almost part of the statistic, you know? So it's like, it's a very powerful thing when you step back and you look at it and you be like, is that person?
Yeah, and I
on
think
the
that's
edge?
why we bring up mental health quite a lot when we talk to people,
Yeah.
because I personally want to try and normalize it to let people know that it is okay, that you do need help. Like
It's okay that you're not okay, yeah.
Like, because everybody, as Shannon just said, a lot of us come from a very dark place. We've all hit rock bottom at one point in time, and it's completely
We're all just trying to climb out of it.
100%.
And it's
We're all
a
just trying to
process.
survive.
And we need to
Yeah.
normalise the fact that mental health is a massive, because another statistic that we found out, that mental health isn't actually a side effect of obesity or something along those lines. We were looking into it because they were saying that mental health and obesity aren't related.
No, obesity isn't caused. It isn't a medical. It's called a mental disorder.
Yeah.
It was a one where it was like it wasn't recognised as an actual medical condition. It was recognised more as just a mental disorder. And I'm like, no, it's a medical condition, and it's related to mental health as well, and different things like that. So yeah, it's definitely a big part of being successful at weight loss surgery. Weight loss surgery is an amazing tool, but is understanding that there's more to it. There's a reason why you got to the weight you did and why you were morbidly obese.
Yep.
Because I know it's due to trauma early in my life. It's due to uncontrollable situations.
Yep.
And I think recognizing that and being at peace with that is a really important part to actually being successful and moving forward, because you need to just be like, own it. Own it. There's nothing you can do about it. You need to move forward, but you need to process those emotions, because otherwise they will eat you from the inside out.
But there's also a lot to be taken from that as well. Like, you need to then also realise that once you've had the surgery chops your stomach out or changes your plumbing. It doesn't fix your head.
And this surgery also affects your hormones as well, and that also affects your mental health. And it's just it's a consistent. You got to be consistent with your journey and just
and be open
pay attention to your cues.
to not being okay.
Yeah.
Be open to asking for help.
Yeah.
I think is a very important thing.
So in the form, when you fill it out, we send it out the form to people so we can find out a little bit of information about you. One of the questions we said was, if you could change one thing about your journey, what would it be? And you said to take the time to educate yourself about the surgery that you're having, to make sure that you've got a good team and a support network and all that. So we've talked about the team and the support network. You actually found out, and this was a fact that I didn't know, that if you have a bypass, you can never donate blood again.
No. I made contact with what's it called?
The bypass, the
blood donors?
the vampires.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, it's the blood donation place thing, my Bobby, that thing. I contacted them and they were just letting us, and I was just like, what? I was devastated because at the time, my auntie was, she was getting treatment for cancer and she had to have blood donations, and I was like, I want to give all of my blood. Let me give it.
Yeah.
Like these people are giving their blood to save her life. Like, let me do the thing. And they're like, sorry, you can't.
Why is that?
Wow.
I wonder why that is.
I'm like, the malnutrition.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah. It's
Knowing that now, or knowing that you couldn't do that, would that have swayed your decision to have the bypass over the sleeve?
Possibly. I honestly, I think diabetes is debilitating. Like, drinking protein shakes, I would pass out after gym before I drive home.
Wow.
Because I was like, my body's like, nah, so can't do that.
Sauce.
Low GI diets, guys. That's the thing. To save my auntie's life, yes, it's.
Did you know that your auntie had cancer when you were choosing which surgery you're going to have?
No.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
So it was a circumstantial sort of thing because you didn't know
Yeah,
at
but you
the
look
time.
back now,
but
it's kind of like, if you gave up one of your kidneys and then, you need a kidney later on. It's you can't look into the future.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a bit of a double-edged sword question, really. I wanted to save my own life, but I wanted to save my auntie's.
Well, I just
Really
I
hard
thought
choice.
that was a very interesting fact that I didn't know. Yeah.
Like, I know with sleeve, I have issues now being able to donate.
Well, with
blood.
the
I have to
sleeve,
get
you need to get a note from your doctor to say, or from
Yeah.
your surgeon to say that you're
because I've always
cleared.
been a blood donor. I've always donated blood because I feel like I like how they're like, you save this amount of lives, and I'm like, yes, I'm making a difference. And
See,
now
I
I'm
can't
like,
because I'm so scared of needles. I pass out every time that I go to give blood, so I just don't
And
do
you're
it.
getting your brows done? What the heck?
Do you know, I sent them an email saying like, hey, just FYI, do you use numbing cream? Because like I'm a little, yeah. But I have tattoos. It's just needles and blood is what I can't do. Like, so I can't give blood. And when I have to go get blood tests and stuff, I'm that person that I walk into QML and I'm like, so that bed that has all the toys on it for the kids, can you just clear that off? And I'm going to lay down on it so I can't see what you're doing. Otherwise I will
you're a bit of a
pass
silk,
out.
aren't you?
Well, I'll never forget. You go.
I turn into like a stiff board and I look to my left, like, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, I'll
And
never
then the
forget when
thing
I was
just like, you can hear it. And I'm just like, ooh.
Oh, you can hear it.
Oh. When I was
yeah.
little, or when I was younger, I had to have a blood test done, and I'll never forget. It was my first blood test that I'd ever had. Mum dropped me off at QML, and she was like, "I'm just going to run into Coles while you get your blood test done, and I'll come back." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." I passed out in the like pathology lab when they were taking my blood. And then Mum came back and she obviously felt like absolutely horrible because, you know, she left her 12-year-old daughter to pass out in the pathology lab. Anyway, we've gotten back into the car and Mum's got a brand new Mercedes. And because I passed out, I vomited in the car. And like her car was only like a week old. And I'm talking, you know, they've saved their whole life for this beautiful Mercedes. And here I am being like, bleh, just vomiting everywhere in it and passing out and stuff. So ever since then, I just don't chance it again because I feel so bad. So yeah, I lay down, I can't look at it, I get queasy and I have to tell them every time that I'm going in there, like there is a chance that I might pass out. So that every time that I've finished giving blood or like getting my blood test done, they're like, are you okay? Do you need water? Do you need to, can I do anything?
Do you need a Mercedes to vomit in? Yeah. What do you need? Let me help you.
So I suck. Yeah, so I'm not good with withdrawing blood, but I'm fine with like tattoos and actually getting injections and that sort of things. But
You got any more fun facts over there?
no more fun facts. But I guess it is a fun fact. What's next for you, Stace? Like you've done your 1,000 steps and you've done your charity raising and all that sort of thing. What's next?
I really want to do a 10K run.
Yep.
I think that's the goal.
Because you're smashing 5K now. That was one of your original goals, to run 5K.
Oh, yeah. I was going to mention this because I saw today someone shared you running in your I'm a bariatric patient t-shirt and you ran like 33 minutes.
Wait, someone shared that?
Yeah, I saw it today. And I was like, that's sick. I love that. Like I kind of like, I need to get like it permanently embroidered or tattooed on me. I'm a bariatric patient because like, you know, seeing someone
I might actually do that. Like,
get a tattoo.
Get a tattoo and just run.
Yeah, because like
Yeah,
I feel like you being out there, you do not look like a bariatric patient. Like I know, and I said this all the time because like we go to weight loss meetups and blah blah, and I find it like unless it's like a meetup, it's like it's really hard to approach people because you go, have you had bariatric surgery? And they're like, oh no, I haven't had.
What does a
surgery.
bariatric surgery patient look like?
That's what I mean.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
No.
and the amount of times I've had that conversation where we've gone to like a bar and it's like a weight loss meetup, and then I've approached someone who hasn't had bariatric surgery, and they're like, no, I haven't had bariatric surgery. I'm like, oh, sorry, you look like an after, you know, and that's my way of getting out of it because I'm kind of like, you know, it's really hard because you look at you're an after, like I would never look at you and be like, you once were morbidly obese, you know, and having people like you out there wearing your I'm a bariatric patient. And owning it is really kind of like.
Oh man, I felt like I looked badass in that photo.
You did look badass in that photo.
You were in the air. You had some air time.
You were getting your PB. You were running. You were doing it. You were yeah.
No, I saw that today and I was like, I love that because that is acknowledging the success you've had, but then also paying appreciation to the process that got you there.
And it's also setting you up for new goals as well.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, weight loss surgery didn't get you to where you are. You got you to where you are, but it was a tool that set you on the right path. Because as much as I sit there and can be like, I got me to where I am, I have to understand it was the tool that kickstarted it.
Yeah.
And that's why like I want to force
Started it all.
Yeah, like I want to force it down people's throat and be like, you know, especially some people I see and I'm like, they're struggling and I can see it. I want to be like, you know, have you considered a bariatric surgery? Because some people are just very like led by other people's opinions of it and they never want to go down that avenue purely based on other people judging them for it. And I'm like, just consider it. It's not as extreme.
Just have a conversation about it.
Have a conversation about it, because like some people could really benefit from bariatric surgery, because it is,
100%.
it's a tool that could help a lot of people.
But I say that all the time. So I say the first 30 kilos that I lost, I think hands down was the assistance of
the
my tool.
Yeah.
But then the second 30 that I've lost and maintained is being because of my lifestyle. So
Because you are a tool?
Shut
No.
up.
Okay.
God, no. You're lucky it's called BARI BANTER. I swear to God.
Yeah, I just feel like we didn't have enough in there. So it's like, you're a tool.
But like that's the thing. Like the surgery will definitely help you lose the weight. It will kickstart your weight loss. It's what you do afterwards that will determine how successful you are at it.
100%.
So in saying that, what's next for you, Stacey?
Yeah.
What's next? Well, honestly, get my confidence back. I want to be working. COVID's not letting me do that. 10K running.
Yep.
Hopefully we get a football season. I've joined a new football team. I'm a bit scared about that, but it's okay. I'll get through
You
it.
smash it.
You'll do great.
Yeah.
I want to bungee jump,
Yes.
but I'm scared that I'm like going to
gross.
slip a disc
Yeah,
on the
bungee.
way down.
Give me a skydive or a bungee
Well,
jump.
she's done the skydive.
Yeah, but bungee
I've done the
jumping.
skydive.
Yeah.
If I wanted to be a tea bag, I would just be a tea bag.
I'm the same as you, Stacey. I've got bad knees, so I just think that jumping and like being like slung, like flinged back is just going to dislocate my knees
You're a
even more.
glorified tea bag. It's like, that's what you do, a tea bag in a cup.
I've got arthritis in my back, so I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, have you seen New Zealand? Have you seen the world's largest swing?
Yeah.
It looks sick, and I really want to go do it.
Yeah, well, you're not allowed into New Zealand at the moment anyway, so.
I know.
Yeah.
What else is the goal? Baby.
Can I ask? Oh, baby.
Babies.
Oh, baby. Wow. Okay.
No, not in like the next year, but like beyond that, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
as the
that's
two
an
of
exciting
you
one.
make your way through your fitness journey together, you'll turn it into a family journey.
Yeah, the bypass family.
The bypass family. But you are mentally good. You're good in a good space now. You feel?
Yeah. I've been a little bit quiet the last couple of weeks, only because I'm just like, oh no, this is the rest of my life. Just like figuring out how to maintain. Maintaining, I feel like, is the hardest part, I think. So that's where I'm at the moment.
And it is. And there's a lot of external pressure to, succeed, I guess. But like, I think for me, where I'm at, it's if you find that balance of things you enjoy, it won't so much feel like maintaining. Because for me, where I'm at now, like, yes, I fluctuate probably with weight. I don't even get on the scales, but like, I'm sure I fluctuate with weight. But like, if you find that balance, it shouldn't feel like a diet, I think is the biggest thing with weight loss surgery. It's like, it shouldn't, you've had weight loss surgery, if you find the right balance of energy in, energy out.
That's where I'm still trying to figure it out. And that's why I'm still in the community and still striving to be a part of it.
And stay motivated.
Because hopefully I'll find that medium, that balance.
Yeah.
Because I love exercise.
It's not meant to happen overnight. I think it's something you need to just pay attention to and look for those external things that can get you out there.
And I also think what you're doing, you're definitely making the right steps towards, because we always say surround yourself with the people who motivate you and inspire you, and you doing your 1,000 steps things again. If there's anybody who lives in your local area, Stace, she does what, once a month, is it?
Once a month, on the first Sunday every month. The first Sunday of the month, sorry.
Spruik it for yourself. No, so first Sunday of every month, Stace has started to get together to try and at 10 a.m. to try and connect with local people in her area and just who want to, in Melbourne.
It's what part of Melbourne is it?
It's in Ferntree Gully.
Yeah.
The 1,000 steps under the sign.
Yep.
Yeah.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah.
Get out there. Stacey is the most approachable person in the world.
Yeah.
So, like, please get out there, be part
I'll
of it.
make sure you make it up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll drag you.
I walk behind. I walk behind everyone. They make the pace.
Yeah.
I just hang out.
But that's definitely that's definitely a tribute to my success, I think, too, is I met Shannon so early on in my process, and we've definitely, encouraged each other along the whole way. And I'm a massive believer in surround yourself in people who you want to be like and who you draw motivation and who you can encourage. And, like we were saying about the sunflowers before, be the light to somebody else's day, give them the energy, that sort of thing. So,
Like, I'm in awe of your friendship. Like the friendship between each other, like you guys inspire each other every day, and like I love that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like she pushes me as much as I do her, but in different ways.
Yeah.
So like I push her in like getting out and moving and doing.
He physically abuses me. He pushes me all the time.
Yeah, I push her downstairs. It's great. But like I push her to get out there and get outside her comfort zone when she pushes me in other ways. So
Shannon's like the little person who I'm kind of sitting there going, you know what, I really don't think that I can do that today. And he'll be like, shut up, Alita, you did it 3 times the other day. You can get up and do it once today, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like I like to talk myself out of doing things.
But you're a bit of a hype girl. Like, you're a bit of a, like, if you do something, she will acknowledge you doing something, which I think is really important. Like having like people around you that value your success as much as you value your success is very important because, it's that two-way street and it will help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. But, yeah.
Oh, my God. I need you guys in Melbourne.
Oh, I want to come. I wish I could be part of the 1,000 Steps thing. That sounds right.
Honestly, look, I want to get back down there as soon. There's so many people that we love in Melbourne, so as soon as we can get down there again, I know, as long as I don't have to quarantine for 2 weeks when we get home and that sort of thing, I'll be down there as soon as I can. So,
yeah. Yeah. Well, Stacey, I was just thinking this before, like, I'm really, really grateful that you came on. And because, as we said before, with the statistic with mental health and different things, having someone like you who is clearly successful but acknowledges that she's still a work in progress and still taking that time to kind of, like, I think it's really important because sometimes people maybe look at it and be like, I want to be that Instagram life that person's portraying over there, but that's not real.
Yep.
You sitting down with us and saying like, yes, I'm definitely a lot happier than I used to be, but I'm still working on me, is where you need to be at. You just need to acknowledge that like you need to keep moving forward. You need to acknowledge that maybe sometimes the grass isn't so green, and be okay with that and ask other people how you get the grass so green, or just acknowledge that it's not.
Teach me your ways.
Yeah.
I've heard if you pee on the grass, it makes it greener. Just saying.
That makes a brown patch.
Ew.
But honestly, Stace, I want to say a massive thank you because I know how anxious you were about coming on today. I've spoken to you a few times about getting you on and, we just kind of like chipped away at it every week. And, I know that you were super nervous and quite anxious. So you did amazing. I think that honestly, you're a bundle of knowledge though without even realizing that you have so much to offer and so much to give.
Yeah, we all have a lesson to learn, and Stace has accumulated all these little lessons throughout the time that she just passed on, whether it's just little things, that would trigger someone to be like, I need to do this or I need to do that, because at the end of the day, alone we're strong, together we're unstoppable. So like little tips from each other will help each other succeed, and that's what it's all about. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed another episode of Barry Banter. Please give us your feedback. Let us know if you want to come on, because we want to hear everyone's stories. We want to understand everyone's stories, and we want to learn a little bit more about each other. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Stace. That's another episode of Barry Banter.
Why, yes, that is another episode of Barry Banter in the books. We hope you got a little something from that one.
Head on over to Facebook or Instagram and check us out, or go to BARIBANTER.com where you can watch past episodes, give us feedback, and let us know who you want to hear from next.
We love you all, and as always, please stay beautiful.